What's up, y'all? It's Reese here with Tap In with Reese, and today's video is about how people are taking comedy way too serious. Tune in.
Tap in with Reese.
It feels like nowadays people are taking comedy way too serious. And I'm not saying people shouldn't have standards. I'm not saying anything goes. But what I'm saying is we've reached a point where people are looking to be offended before they even look to laugh. Like, think about that. You see a skit, you see a joke, and instead of asking, was that funny? The first thing people ask is, who could this offend? And that right there changes everything. Take somebody like Druski. He makes skits, and if you watched his content, you already know. His whole brand is exaggeration. He takes real life situations, turns them all the way up, and makes them funny. That's comedy. But now people will watch the same skit and completely ignore the joke, just to focus on what could be offensive. And it's like, are we watching comedy or are we auditing it? Because it feels like people are watching with a checklist now. Was this politically correct? Did this cross a line? Should I be mad at this? And if enough people say yes, boom, you're trending for the wrong reasons. Not because you weren't funny, but because you didn't stay inside this invisible box. And that's the problem. There's this invisible line now, and nobody knows where it is. What's okay today might not be okay tomorrow. What one group laughs at, another group takes offense to. So comedians are stuck in this weird position where they gotta think twice about everything. Not, is this funny? But, will this get me canceled? And once comedy becomes about fear, it stops being real. Because the best comedy has come from risk. Think about it. The ones people remember are the ones that pushed a boundary, that made you go, yo, he really said that. That's what makes it funny. That shock factor, that honesty, that boldness. But now, the same type of joke could end your whole career. And I think that's why a lot of comedy today feels watered down. Because people are playing it safe. They're filtering themselves before the audience even gets a chance to react. And don't get me wrong, there's a difference between comedy and just being disrespectful. We're not talking about that. We're talking about actual jokes that are meant to entertain. But even those are getting picked apart now. And what's crazy is, a lot of people will laugh at something in private, but act offended in public. You ever notice that? They'll send the video to their friends, laughing, and then go online and say, this is not okay. And that creates this weird pressure, because now it's not even about how people really feel. It's about how people feel they're supposed to respond. And social media made that 10 times worse, because now every reaction is public, every opinion is amplified, and outrage spreads faster than laughter. So what gets more attention? Not the joke, but the backlash. And once that happens, it doesn't matter what the intent was. It doesn't matter if it really was a skit. The narrative becomes, you crossed the line, and that's it. Now you gotta apologize, explain yourself, or just disappear for a while. And that's dangerous for comedy, because comedy is supposed to reflect real life. It's supposed to take awkward, uncomfortable, even controversial situations and find humor in them. That's how people vote. But if comedians feel like they can't touch a topic at all, then comedy starts to lose its purpose. It becomes surface level, safe, predictable, and honestly, kind of boring, because now you know what's coming. Nobody's surprising you anymore. Nobody's taking that risk. And that's why you see certain comedians blowing up off of authenticity, because they're willing to say what others won't, even if it comes with backlash. And I think that's where the divide is right now. You've got one side saying, comedy should have no limits, and another side saying, comedy needs boundaries. But the real question is, who decides where those boundaries are? Because everybody's line is different. What offends one person might not even faze another. So if comedians try to please everybody, they end up pleasing nobody. And that's where we're at right now. Comedy is being shaped more by reaction than by creativity. And that's backwards, because comedy is supposed to lead, not follow. It's supposed to challenge people, not just comfort them. And if everything has to be safe, then it's not really comedy anymore. It's just content, and there's a difference. So when situations like the Druski skit happened, I think it's bigger than just one video. It's a reflection of where we are right now, where people are more focused on being right than just enjoying the moment. I'm not saying people shouldn't speak up, but there has to be some balance. Because if every joke becomes a problem, eventually people just stop joking. And when that happens, we lose something bigger than what we realize. Because laughter is one of the few things that brings people together. And if we start policing that too much, we might end up taking out the joy of it completely. Thank you for tuning in for today's video. Let me know your comments below. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. See you in the next one.